God, how about Cole and all these white jackets? That's pretty good. All right. Boy, I like seeing that when you can pull together doctors and folks in the health community with coal miners, you know that you're in for a really special day. So it's great of everyone to come here today. This is a really exciting time in West Virginia. When I took office in January, I started talking a lot about the steps that we need to do to move the needle for West Virginia to begin to grow economically, to attract more jobs and workers, and grow opportunities in areas that really have been struggling for some time. I also emphasized the importance of protecting our current residents, but being a beacon of hope for people outside of the state to begin to attract more people to West Virginia. That's how we're going to grow economically. Today, I think we take a huge step forward, and I want to express my deep thanks to the House and the Senate for their incredible action. I think Randy Smith, the Senate President, is coming at some point, but I know the Speaker's here. Mr. Speaker, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. So, in order for West Virginia to grow, we must keep focusing like a laser beam on jobs and economic development. And you know, I've been talking a lot about how we can accomplish that through expanding this economic backyard brawl and competing better with all the states that we touch. It's my priority to make sure that West Virginia is the most attractive place to live, work, and play in this region, and the best place to raise a family. And part of that means reducing bureaucracy and red tape for those who are already here or for those who want to move to West Virginia and contribute to our economy. Of course, improving workforce participation, that's the challenge of our time. I think it's the biggest issue we have here in the state, and it's one that I'm working every day to confront head on. I have asked every single agency in my administration to participate in the administration's efforts to grow workforce participation. And we're going to continue to have announcements about that in the weeks and months ahead. In my State of the State speech, I also asked the legislature to work with me to pass a number of bills to address workforce participation and to fuel economic growth that helps drive our comeback. Well, today we're here to celebrate one of those bills reaching my desk. Today, I am proud to sign Senate Bill 458, a bill to establish a universal licensing reciprocity system. This law is going to put West Virginia in a place to accept professional and occupational licenses issued by other states for individuals who establish residency here. When other states passed universal licensing, it helped increase their workforce by thousands. This is going to ensure that nurses, doctors, contractors, realtors, skilled workers who are licensed in another state, you can move to West Virginia and you can get to work right away. Today, I'm very pleased to be joined by a number of folks who are representing some of these occupations. We're going to be able to see real change when this bill gets signed into law, whether that means we're growing our state population by 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, hard to predict the final numbers, but this is going to help West Virginia grow. So I'm especially pleased that we have a number of people joining us today. Doctors and residents from Vandalia Health, carpenters from the Contractors Association of West Virginia. We have representatives of the West Virginia Manufacturing Association, their board of directors. I think Steve Hedrick and Dana Burns are here. And we have members of the West Virginia Chamber. Now, what I'd like to do is introduce some of them to share their personal stories and a few words on how licensing reciprocity is going to affect their positions and their occupation. So with that, I'd like to ask Dr. Andy Tanner from Vandalia Health to come up to the podium. Dr. Tanner is a faculty member from Vandalia's Family Medicine program and a board member for the Osteopathic Medical Board. Dr. Tanner? Oh, there we go. Thank
Thank you, Governor Morrisey. Yeah, I've been at Vandalia for over 20 years now, working in graduate medical education, and I'm happy that a lot of my residents are here with me today and medical students, and I think all 5 of them are going to stay in West Virginia when they finish. That being said, I'm also help a lot with recruiting for CAMC with physicians and on credentialing. And a lot of times what happens is we recruit physicians, they agree to come, and then there's a delay in their license. And most of these folks are coming from out of state. And as a board member for the osteopathic board as well, we see those applications come, and there's a lot of things that have to happen in order for someone to get licensed. So now that they have a license in another state, it'll be an easy process. It'll be speedy, and it's really going to help healthcare for not only for our region, but throughout the state, especially in a lot of smaller areas where it's hard to recruit and retain physicians.
Great. Thank you very much. That's terrific. Now I'd like to introduce you to Chris Turner. He's a former realtor who moved here from Wisconsin. I'm going to let Chris tell his story now. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, my wife and I moved here in 2021, and one of the things, I was a light practicing realtor. That just means that I didn't sell $10 million or $1 billion a year in real estate, but I enjoyed my job helping new homeowners find a place to live. It was one of the really joyous parts of art, where it would open up, help somebody find a new home. I can't tell you how good that felt. When I moved to West Virginia, I wanted to keep doing it, but then before we got here, I discovered it was going to be about 180 hours of studying time. On top of that, lots of thousands of dollars, classes and tests, stuff like that. And I unfortunately decided to retire. I shouldn't say that. I love my wife, and we have a lot of time together now. But at the same time, it's something that I had
She's watching you now.
Yeah, she is. It's something I had to lose that was near and dear to my heart, working with, especially with buyers.
And now you're going to go back to work.
No. I've enjoyed retirement.
But it would be easier for
yes,
you to do
it would. But thank you for doing
that.
I
Thank you
wish
so
it was
much. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chris. And for so many of the people, this is going to make it easier to live, work, and play in West Virginia. I'm excited about it. And I know we have another part that we're going to get to for all our wonderful coal miners who are here today. I'm grateful. But now, without further ado, I'd like to sign this bill into law. You guys ready? All right. You don't want to be signing any bills. Okay? I'll tell you what, this was one of the hallmark bills that we were looking at earlier in the session. I know we've talked a lot about it, having the ability to have universal licensing. We've got a one-stop permitting bill. We have a number of other big issues that are coming down right now that are being considered this week. It's an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to closing out this legislative session in a very positive manner. And I will tell you, so many people, so many members of the legislature are working very hard to make that happen, so I'm very grateful. The other reason I wanted to pull people together is just to update folks on another really important bill that's going through. Now, for many years, West Virginia has done some positive things to begin helping the economy and to begin changing the way things always have been done. But before I took office as governor, I kept thinking about how could we move the needle in a much more meaningful way. Because despite a lot of the good work, we still have a long way to go in the economic rankings. And quite frankly, I'm not satisfied of being 48, 49, and 50 in the rankings. So that's one of the reasons why our office, along with the House and many members of the Senate, decided to put a lot of time into a microgrids bill. And this is critically important for a few reasons. Right now, there are a lot of companies across the country that are looking for ways to invest money in data centers. And they're eyeballing what states are going to be most receptive to allow someone to come in and to be able to get to build in as fast a period of time as possible. Speed to build, one of the most important charges that we have with respect to data centers. There is unlimited, practically, investment in this area, and a lot of it will flow to states that get it right in terms of the structure that's in place. Here in West Virginia, we're on the verge of getting it really right. We have a bill that passed the House with 88 to 12 vote that's pending in the Senate. I'm optimistic we're going to get it through the Senate as well. And I would argue this bill could be one of the single biggest economic development bills for our state that we've seen in a very long time. I think it's going to allow West Virginia to get on the map in a very significant way, to be a hub for these data centers and for technology to come to West Virginia in a way that we haven't seen before. We want to be the state where it's easiest to operate these data centers in. We want to take advantage of the unlimited energy resources that we have. And yes, that's gas. But guys, that's also coal. And there's a big opportunity for gas, for coal, to utilize our water resources, and to do things that we haven't been able to do in a very long time. So our bill would accomplish that. And along the way, we thought it was also critically important to protect the power grid. So we've created a stabilization fund and some protections for consumers so that they're not going to be paying the freight for a lot of this new investment. Very, very critical. We've established an economic development fund. And this is important because one of the things that I think has held West Virginia back is that we haven't had the same dedicated economic development focus that other states have had over time. If you look at what Indiana and Ohio and other states have done, they've had that targeted resource to go in to lay the groundwork to be more competitive economically. This bill that came out of the House would do that. But then there's what I would consider the crown jewel of the microgrids legislation. Now, all of you know I've talked about the backyard brawl economically for a while, and one of the key components of that is to compete against the other states in all the different areas, from a regulatory perspective, a workforce perspective, a licensing perspective. We saw the importance of the licensing perspective with occupational, that bill that we just signed, but also from a tax perspective. So one of the important provisions that we worked on very hard with, and we're glad to partner with the House, we're partnering with the Senate on that, is that we would be putting a significant amount of money into efforts to ultimately eliminate the state income tax. Let me say that again. We think we want to eliminate the state income tax, and if we're able to create an attractive enough environment for these data centers to locate, we could have a substantial portion of revenue that could begin to make that happen. Now look, that's not going to happen immediately, but it'll be the first time ever the state has a dedicated force, an ongoing revenue stream that's going toward getting that income tax down. That's with all the other great components of the bill in terms of economic development, grid stabilization. There's some resources for water and other things. This is going to be an incredible opportunity. But we have to keep the crown jewel. And so I wanted to bring folks together today to say, we're so close to the finish line. I'm urging every West Virginian to weigh in, thank the House for their good work, and to urge the Senate to pick up this great bill. Be positive, to take advantage of this great moment in history for West Virginia. This is an opportunity we have to soar. But we have to keep that focus, too, on the income tax reduction, because that's a big part of the success we'll have. So I'm going to make sure that any final bill is going to have that significant percentage focused in that area. I think when you combine what we're looking to do through HB 2014 with what we talked about in the state of the state, the combination could be incredible. And I know that we're working hard with the House and Senate this week on some of the other initiatives to fuel up the workforce component to make this effort to attract data centers even stronger. That goes back to what we announced at the State of the State, the partnership with WVU, with Marshall, with Shepherd, with Blue Ridge, to make sure that we're building out advanced manufacturing jobs for data engineering, for robotics, but also for the VOTEC positions out there, the electricians. And my goodness, we need so many tens of thousands of electricians to come in, sheet metal workers, plumbers. This is such a big opportunity for West Virginia. And this effort and the funds that we're seeking from the legislature, it goes hand in hand with the data center bill. So I'm hopeful that we can close off this legislative session with a bang, have an incredible opportunity to really make a meaningful difference economically. And then we'll come back and we'll keep working together with the House and the Senate to achieve great things for our people, to allow West Virginia to truly be that shining state in the mountains. So a lot of exciting things. I'm optimistic. We've been working. We're going to keep going through, run through the finish line. Let's have a great last week of session. And I want to say thank you for all the folks that came here today, whether you're mining the coal or whether you're helping people's health care every single day, whether you're involved as a contractor, helping build West Virginia up. Whatever you may do, you have the thanks of our legislature and your executive branch, and we're eager to move West Virginia to a whole new level. So with that, I'll conclude this part of the event, and I'll take any questions that people may have. Any questions? Amelia? Hey, sure. Okay.
The employees in that office, there's no longer a working website. So any concerns from your administration that it's not following state code that mandates we have that office?
No, so first of all, I've been assured that we're in full compliance with every state law and federal law, and that's all what we do. So I know one of the things that we're charged with doing is protecting taxpayers and driving efficiencies. So we're going to take a look at that. We'll make sure everything is done the right way. And so I'll go back after this and make sure that we're taking the steps and figure out if there are areas where we need authority to change. Certainly, then we'll go to the legislature and ask for change. If there are things we could do independently on our own, we'll do that. But as the former Attorney General, I can tell you I care a lot about legal compliance, and I like to win court cases. So that's why we try to be sensitive early in the process. So we're going to make sure we do it right. And so I don't know all the details in terms of the specifics of that office and the status, but I can tell you that we're going to make sure that there's full compliance. Any other questions that my folks may have? Well, I want to say thank you. We have a lot of people here. We have a number of legislators. Tom Willis, you've been a great leader in the Senate. Thank you. This guy's an up-and-coming guy. Thank you for your efforts. And then we have a number of other people from some of the trades. Chris Hamilton, any positive words on our microgrid bills? Pass it. Well, that you heard it right from Chris. Thank you very much. And we look forward to finishing off strong. Thanks, everyone.